Welcome to Global Journeys with Jill Dutton, the captivating travel podcast that takes you on an extraordinary adventure around the world. I'm your host, Jill Dutton, and I am thrilled to be your guide through the mesmerizing tapestry of cultures, landscapes, and experiences that await us. Global Journeys with Jill Dutton is more than just a travel podcast. It's an exploration of humanity itself. Through the power of storytelling, we illuminate the lives of the remarkable individuals we encounter along the way. Whether it's through the eyes of a fishing guide, a distillery owner, a mixologist, a historian, chef, or even a farmer, each person we meet adds a rich layer to the narrative of culture and place. Join me as we venture off the beaten path, seeking authenticity, connection, and a deeper understanding of the world we inhabit. Although my writing career began in the late 90s when I created and launched a wellness publication called Evolving Magazine, since 2015 I've worked as a travel writer on a mission to seek out the locally celebrated foods, liquor trends, outdoor activities, and stories of those I meet along the way. My work has been published in Wine Enthusiast, Afar, Woman's World, First for Women, Insider, Road Trippers, Modern Farmer, Chilled Magazine, and many more digital and print publications. I'm also the creator of Global Plates, The People We Meet, The Food They Eat, a syndicated column. So pack your curiosity, leave your preconceived notions behind, and let's embark on Global Journeys with Jill Dutton, where each episode promises to inspire, educate, and awaken the wanderlust within us all. Before we begin today's episode, I'd like to announce a great honor our podcast received this week. FeedSpot released its Best Travel Podcasts on the Planet, and Global Journeys with Jill Dutton placed 27th in the top 100 travel podcasts. When I began this podcast this year with the intention of providing an insider's glimpse at the people and the places I travel to, I didn't aspire to being on any lists. My goal was to share the experiences I've had with other travelers so we might all relish in our differences while seeing our commonalities. To be recognized as one of the best travel podcasts is a reflection of you, our listeners, and your dedication to the show. Thank you so very much. Here's to more journeys in 2024. Now on to this week's episode. Greetings, fellow travelers. I just returned from an 8-day European river cruise aboard the Viking Vilhjalm. We began our adventure along the Danube River in Budapest, Hungary, then traveled each day to a new city, from Budapest to Bratislava, Slovakia, to Vienna, Krems, and Linz, Austria, and ended in Passau, Germany. In each city, my guest Lisa and I took walking tours along the cobblestone streets to learn about the architecture and history of the city, visited the Christmas markets with their regional delights such as chimney cakes, potato dumplings, and mulled wine, or took optional tours such as a thermal bath in Budapest, a beer and dinner tasting in Bratislava, and an Austrian countryside tour in Linz that took us to a farmer's home to learn the art of bread baking. When not exploring the various European cities, our time on board the Viking Vilhjalm was spent indulging in the luxuries that Viking represents: fresh, seasonal, regional fare in the dining room, friendly staff who went out of their way to provide stellar service, but also to make the journey fun. We sipped cocktails in the evening as we listened to George Siderov, the program director, share exciting tales about the next day's adventures. After dinner, there were sing-alongs, concerts, and performances, and a chance to catch up with other passengers about their favorite site or activity so far. As often happens, we made friends with whom we'll stay in touch with long after the journey. One of the highlights of the cruise was setting sail at night from Budapest. We traveled past the Parliament building, shining and golden in the night light, and I held my breath at the subtle beauty. Spectacular cruises such as I experienced are the norm for Viking, and Viking has more than 250 awards to its name, including being rated number 1 for rivers, number 1 for oceans, and number 1 for expeditions by Condé Nast Traveler, and voted at the top of its categories by Travel and Leisure. No other cruise line has ever received these same honors by both publications at the same time. While our cruise held adult guests at various ages, Viking cruises are tailored for the 55-plus cruise guest. This means there are leisurely options for someone who might have challenges on some of the walking tours and it also makes for a seamless trip to Europe. My only other visit to Europe was when I was 12. My 37-year-old mother and I spent 3 months backpacking parts of Europe, camping, sleeping in youth hostels, and using my sister Mary's home, who was then stationed in Augsburg, Germany, as a home base. I've always been awed by the courage my mother had to take a child on such an adventure. She struggled with the languages, the currency, finding our way around, and all the logistics of planning. On a Viking cruise, however, these challenges of traveling to a foreign country are eliminated. The airfare is booked for you, the itinerary is planned, you just need to choose your preferences. The guides and crew speak English, and every detail is taken care of so that all you need to do is show up. It makes international travel stressless and easier for a solo traveler or someone not experienced with travel. Viking Cruise is also a responsible travel option, as Viking longships are powered by true diesel-electric hybrid engines that meet stringent emission standards and reduce vibrations for a remarkably smooth ride. In addition, the vessels feature onboard solar panels and organic herb gardens. Now, imagine having the opportunity to sit down with the program director of this floating oasis, gaining insights into the behind-the-scenes magic that makes each Viking river cruise a once-in-a-lifetime experience. During my time on the Viking Vilhjalm, I had the privilege of sitting down with George Siderov, the maestro orchestrating this symphony of activities and experiences on board. George has worked with Viking for 12 years, and his enthusiasm and love for his job are evident. A previous performer himself, George says many of the crew have worked in the entertainment industry, and I suspect this is part of their enthusiasm and joy. So get comfortable and join me as we embark on a virtual journey through the heart of Europe, both on and off the Viking Vilhjalm, with Viking Program Director George Siderov. Without further ado, let's set sail into the heart of today's episode and explore the wonders that Viking River Cruises has in store for us. This is my first cruise. It has been just this amazing experience for myself. I'm not sure what I was even expecting, but I've done a lot of train travel, and so this is just like complete flip of that as far as luxury and the ease, and you don't even realize you're traveling when you are traveling, and so it's not that waiting to get to the next place, because you wake up in a different city every day, and it's just amazing mode of transportation. So, and I've just enjoyed it immensely. So I've enjoyed listening every evening. We go into the lounge and you tell the guests about the coming day's city and what we'll visit and the excursions that we'll enjoy. And your enthusiasm is just, it's contagious and it's very evident. So I'm curious.
Because they're beautiful places, and I'm very excited for you guys
to share it. Yes.
You're going to see it tomorrow, and I know the impact it's going to have on you.
Mm-hmm. So have you heard from guests often that this enhances their experience to learn about it the day before and to get that feel for where they're going?
The briefing's very much appreciated by the vast majority of the guests. Of course, some of them, they said, oh, why should I go to the briefing? I've got it written in my paper. But of course, I try to keep it entertaining, just to crack a joke every now and then. Also, I just give them the history in a nutshell. The guys, the next day, they elaborate on everything that I've said the night before.
That's true.
I don't really want to bother them. I want to show them some beautiful pictures of the places, some highlights, just to prepare them for what they'll be experienced the next day.
That's so true. And you give such great information the night before, and it really builds up the excitement for...
I hope so. I hope. And that's the whole idea of the briefing, basically. And also to explain to especially guests with walking difficulties how challenging the next day is going to be and what they should expect, and just to...
And I've heard you mentioning there's a leisure option for someone who...
Always,
wants to go at a slower pace than maybe...
Everywhere where applicable, we always throw in a leisurely tour.
That's very nice.
And today, in my opinion, is just, the place that really requires a leisurely tour, because, the hills and the cobblestones... It's absolutely beautiful, but sometimes it's challenging, and then everybody wants to see the cathedral, because all the tours, they normally end up in front of the cathedral, and that's definitely the highlight. That's why that's the culmination of the tour, the cathedral.
Yes. Okay, wonderful. Well, for someone unfamiliar with Vikings, the Danube River Cruise, what's a typical day look like? I mean, this particular cruise, we started in Budapest, Hungary, and we stopped in 3 cities in Austria, and then ended in Passau, Germany. Each day, guests get up, they come down for breakfast. I mean, what's a typical day?
But basically, yeah, that's the typical day. We normally kick off with the morning tour. I think only one day we had an afternoon tour because of the late arrival, but normally the tour's in the morning. There's always one included tour, then lunch, and then we offer optional tours just to give guests an opportunity to explore more from the places we cruise through, and basically that gives them an option to pick, because there are always more than one. Most of the places, like Vienna, I mean, the afternoon we normally have 5, sometimes 6 optional excursions.
So yes.
So of course, some of them they want to go on all of them, but they need to pick.
Yes, we went to the Thorough Bath in Budapest.
Yeah.
And love that. I think that's a cure for jet lag, because it was just, I felt so much better after that, because we had just arrived. Then the Austrian countryside yesterday, and that was so fun to go out into the countryside, see the hills and the Alps in the distance, and learn to make bread. And, it was a really intimate experience that you offer for something like that. So that was very nice. So then after the afternoon, optional excursions, do people start gathering? Is it about 5 or so for your talk?
Yeah. Some of them, they come on board, they want to chill a little bit. But because we get so versatile group of guests, and that's why we try to cater to everybody's interest in different things. Some people interested in farming, like today, they reported to me the farmers, so they're from farming background, and that's why they wanted to go and see a farm. Always options, this is a world full of options.
Yes, it is. And each city is so different and so interesting.
Viking, they keep throwing in optional excursions every year.
Very wonderful.
Sometimes, some of them basically, they don't work out very well, so we just try to replace them with something that really works and see what people really want to do.
Okay.
And that's why we give them the evaluation forms at the end of the cruise, so they can also, this really helps immensely, just to hear it from the guests. And we're a very flexible company, and we basically adjust towards the product. Whatever the guests want, that's what we try to provide.
That's wonderful. And I've noticed that throughout with the crew members, with everyone, the guest experience is just, it's stellar, the level of service that we've received here. But sticking with the typical day, so after you talk about the next day's destination and things, do people then maybe sit in the Aquavit lounge or?
Normally after the briefing, it's dinner.
Okay.
Immediately after the briefing, they go for dinner. And then in the evening, if we haven't got external entertainment, I would do something like a quiz or a sing-along, or just to keep them entertained, because that's another reason for people to go on a cruise, on a holiday. They want to be entertained.
Yes. And I'm curious it was a real highlight for me, well, 2 highlights for me. Setting sail from Budapest, that was just
the night
spectacular. The night, seeing the Parliament, and then the second one was the Bacau, the gorge. When we traveled through that, are those typically kind of like the highlights on the ship?
Yes, indeed. But having said that, at the moment you can't really enjoy the gorge thoroughly, because 4 o'clock gets pitch dark, and there was so much more to see. But because of
what we did see was it was amazing.
Yeah, but we missed like a few castles further. I didn't talk about them. There wasn't any point because they're not lit up. But like summertime, spring, it's even more enjoyable. The Christmas cruise is a little bit differently arranged. The focus is a bit more on free time and shopping and Christmassy stuff in Christmas markets. During the normal season, it's a bit more history.
Okay. And what would you say are some of the top amenities that guests enjoy while on board? The meals are phenomenal, but something that I might not have thought to mention.
I don't know what you mean under amenities, like, because we haven't got gyms and spas.
No, but our rooms are...
You mean amenities in terms of...
the rooms are just kept pristine all of the time, everything refreshed.
Oh, yeah.
The water bottles as we walk out the door. I mean, just so many special details that are such a nice...
It's a very well-appointed ship, but it's also very highly trained crew.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody comes on board without a special, very extensive training. And it's like a well-oiled machine.
Mm-hmm.
If the part doesn't fit, the system just rejects it. And that's why the people that work on board, they really like what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope this shows.
It does. And I think that leads to my next question as well.
You need to be a special breed, to
Mm-hmm.
work in this industry. You need to be people friendly. You need to be really eager to please.
Yes, yes, and they do. That was actually I've noticed, this friendliness, and it's unparalleled to anything I've seen as far as just continually, they greet you, they ask you how you're doing, very funny. Some of them are playful and, joke around, and it's really, it enhances the entire experience. So I'm curious, this great experience that it creates from interacting with crew, it comes across like they really, truly enjoy their jobs. So is this level of service a reflection of that job satisfaction? I mean,
yeah, of course. I mean, they, as I said, they go through very thorough trainings, and of course, basically, they follow the SOP, the Viking Standard Operation Procedure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also down to personality, as I said, and it's a very well standardized company. You should expect exactly the same on every single ship.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why people come back.
I agree. And
they know exactly what to expect.
Yes, I've met so many people that this is their third or their fourth Viking cruise, and
that's why when I talk about the evaluation system, I always talk to guests that travel with Viking before that they shouldn't really rate us with met expectations, because they basically evaluate this particular boat, not the previous journeys. Because of course they come up to us and say, guys, we've been everywhere. We had so high expectations, and you folks, you met our expectations.
Perfect. And final question is just, myself being a first timer on a cruise, do you have any tips or advice for anyone it's their first time wanting to sign up for a Viking cruise, or this one in particular, what they might anticipate, or tips?
I would say get ready to be spoiled.
Yes.
Big time. And pampered and spoiled, and get ready to
eat best
enjoy,
food. Oh.
Just to, as our logo is, basically enjoy the world of Viking, and the service we provide and the places we cruise through.
Yes.
Perfect. Regional food.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of food, I'm going to be speaking with the chef as well, but I'm just curious for your thoughts. You intentionally each night have something from the area that's featured on the menu, and like that Taste of Austria, it was an amazing spread and so well done. And that's, I guess I don't have anything else to say, but it's so very appreciated to be in a foreign country and get that experience where you can continually.
But that's another thing the guests should expect, actually. We try to go original as much as possible. We had the Taste of Austria the other day because we're cruising through Austria, but if you go on the lower Danube, Budapest, between Budapest, you're going to have the Taste of the Balkans, which is another original evening or lunch. Or we always try to provide regional food for the guests, because it's part of their expectations.
Excellent. Well, you meet all expectations and exceed it. So thank you so much. And I really appreciate this trip, and I appreciate you taking the time to give listeners, because it's a different way for them to learn about this experience than some other mediums, and people like just hearing about what it's like. So thank you very much, George.
Thank you very much. And it's been lots of fun having you on board.
So why Viking?
That was a question, the key question. Why Viking?
Yes.
As I said, Viking is definitely the largest river cruise company in the world, and everything is standardized. Even you have to swap ships, because sometimes this happens. Rivers either run out of water or get too much water, and then we need to move guests from one ship on another ship, but at least we have enough ships, because every Viking boat has a sister ship. And if the worst comes to worst, if we cannot carry on with the cruising, then the two ships, they turn around 180 degrees. The guests from one go on another, and the guests from the other go on. And the two ships turn around, and at least the journey goes on.
Yeah, so there's a plan in place in case.
Our competitors, they cannot really afford to have this because they haven't got enough ships, and it turns into a bus journey instead of...
So many good things about biking, and now that I've experienced it myself, it's definitely something I would recommend to other people as well, and look forward to my next trip, my next cruise.
And because the ships are more or less identical and everything is standardized.
So you know what to expect.
Exactly. Even if you go on another boat, you'd know exactly what to expect. The same service, the same attention to details.
And this just occurred to me when we were talking about the regional menu. Is the food itself locally sourced, from the region, or is...
Yes, we work with a very big catering company in Germany. So basically, we order everything through that company, and they deliver it.
Fresh.
Yeah. Yes, because to be honest, we haven't got big storage rooms, and everything is logistics.
As we travel on this exciting podcasting journey together, I invite you, our incredible audience, to be a part of it. Share your own travel stories, insights, and recommendations with us. Whether you have a hidden gem in your hometown or a dream destination that has captured your imagination, we want to hear from you. Your suggestions will help shape the future episodes of Global Journeys with Jill Dutton, guiding us towards extraordinary locations and experiences that deserve a spotlight. Remember, this podcast is not about just the host or the guests. It's about the collective exploration and discovery that unites us all as wanderers in this vast world. So reach out to us through our website, social media channels, or email and let your voice be heard. Send your suggestions to me at jill@globaljourneyswithjilldutton.com. I can't wait to hear from you. Until next time, may your travels be filled with endless curiosity, open-hearted encounters, and transformative adventures. Safe travels, fellow explorers, and keep wandering.